you. And something you know, soon your pedal. Give me the BH. One of your drop on your home. The cow on your swire. It's your money, bro, young. Nadine, Nanya, Mino, now. So, Fred, we know it. Say, I'm say, Yamiba. So, Fred, we know it. Say, I'm say, Yamiba. Baby, Manu, yeah. Saudi, Maya, Maura, 106.3 FM. Abrante Amachi Dede. Sufre Unyame Fabibia Kompai Boom. Na se trade amponti asie. Bibia beyeye. Bibia beyeye. Social time on Simano and Hisia and Abapa non kono ehon. Send me di kan edit to Jano and yewo enkomotwetwe. And I've really been looking forward to this. Engineer Kwabena Agyei Agyepong your guest. Opani, you will be numbered a young Korana, a friend TV. Who's I? A TV so after Obama, your Semun, so you near dinner from afar. Your monitor his days as the press secretary. After you obey a treasure for Penny Dima NPP Amayukuno. Near one family. In fact, and when I was going through opening the background, Kakra, I'm saying Ghana. I mean, I say intimate threat about the history of Ghana's democracy. Ghana ha Kabimamin Kabi. Obra opening the intimate. Yeah. Because he's played a very important role. Not only our NPP Amayukuno, but on my money. And can near our family in movie and a pair of extensively because you were over 1.5 hours. I had a better chinko. And Jenny joining our Facebook Adom 6.3 FM our Facebook. We're also live on YouTube. And joining in. Saying Penifua, one more person, one more pray, Franca, 24 Dibreno, Edema NPP Amayukuno. One more Bakwa, Wodia Kotanepa, opening Kwabena Agyepong, and a payment in the Baba Church in Como. Let's join here for comments to our Sim Bisabi out to me crowded to her, the veggie bread. Ono and some train or media person into your transit, or Shesania Bibia, Tiansana, Edem Comono, Ediashi Sheso. It's interesting. Nipano Ayashano and then one-on-one I get to interview him. What's Nasi? What's Nasi? And you see, are you ready? Mama Kwaba. See ya.
See ya.
Oh.
The way I said the many beside.
But still, I was young. I mean, you who were TV so those days because I show black and white TV, so you were young, but still, I know.
At that time, Nani Paya Branty, at the age of 25, Nami hosted sports highlights.
25 years.
Yes. Until now, it was unheard of for such a young person. That's that time, so until said that Adom FM, ni other media
stations are
just one national network.
Yes.
GBC TV. Until nature said, meeting my castle with the I became a celebrity.
Wow.
Very, very
25 years.
25 years.
How did you get into the media? Kwabena fast so.
Well, you say me was school in me or tech na me pes. Me am a pes sports at me channel. Since I'm Papa Demico Stadium, name is Sakra Kumasi Stadium.
Into one fan spam now Obobo.
Na me DH pa.
Now DH.
Let me DH party. School sports was a friend Mr. Hope.
Okay.
So my say virtually like a team manager, I or come baby as athletes so become home. Me mo be cry me come.
I see.
Because me pay adeno. Those days uni exit route to me. Agyei free school called second Jandu Park. Kofre Kotoko ne Hazakes. Guys 78 Hazakes share train on me eche ball Jane.
Yeah,
so until by the time you could do text tsunami I say team manager of Independence Hall, the football team.
Okay.
Me na me training on ABBI.
Okay.
Me manage ball. Until by the time I used to start my national service. Madame Fubako, friend of Papa Pencil. Also, he was into sports.
Papa Pencil. I remember the name.
Papa, regional sports director. In those days, I've forgotten the designation. Oh, I shan't need Nabakra. Into Ball Stadium. That's when I got introduced to Papa Penny with a friend of Mr. Henry Ako. But 2 days ago, Robert Simon, we did 87 years.
Wow.
To say.
Wow.
Only producer of sports at the time. Oh yes, I know we program be sports beat
Sports beat.
No, so what timid in some.
And sports highlights. So yeah.
Sports beat me static also panels no be me no me and say hey Abrant say or the talent for this job. And chair cry na that time na Edward Fachi in on a hosted sports highlight. Now I quite believe I think say na year Ukwa United until no call African Cup winners at an African Cup winners. Captain so Agyei oh baby no missing a flight. Ti when dream me dream them. And I just say Henry Ako I drew Sunday Monday night about 6. He hear any part to replace him. No, so just say no, I'm frame me. Until me real man I just say me to me deliver a program.
Wow. Now when your training be?
There be. But because na me son me took one bruch na me head there. Football Focus, BBC, Channel ITV, Nominate, me pay Jim Davis, Nominate, Harry Rosenthal, Jim Rosenthal, Nominate. Now I had been following them. John Motson and saying win and saying one of the most famous, honestly, many Papa Corn 1989.
Wow.
Or Tottenham Stadium now, or office, or White Hart Lane, Ecostrano.
Okay.
We had pictures of that. Time I called Scotland 1989 and the 16 tournament, first one. Into a honor Bemami, and the rest, as they say, is history. We're national television, so 8 p.m. me present sports. In fact, me na me fast international sports ibaya and I bet over BBA. It has done a hamekaka because I was me introduced to that international segment at the end of it.
Okay.
Because now me tell you to quarantine. Those days, local football and local sports was very strong. So, and that's all we knew because there was no satellite television and that kind of stuff. And yes, until at the end of every point, now me call international segment.
Yeah.
About that time, Serie A.
Because
now me say Maradona. And Napoli. Now me come once there. So, in 1990 World Cup, no, that was the first time Ghana Yenya Ekwenya actually World Cup no live. 1990. 86 ni Yenya live, 82 ni Yenya live. Timiko Djokovic bilamteo. That time now, of course, now I had gotten involved in politics. I feel and I prepared for the return to democracy. And Jake was the chief executive of the largest advertising firm, Lentas.
Yeah.
Timiko Huno. I'm catching and say earlier on I had done something which was unique as host of sports highlights. Na makuhu Madame Fubi a friend Shum na onu Adiva shirts.
Okay.
Let me say mama jackets and the ties. There they. Tiani the scribbling I say your wardrobe by Adiva shirts. Na me commercial department for no money me debia. Papa ba ko totola MCC o free. Na me no debia na GBC bia sika am do be my kitikiti. No be my shares ne ya man advert kakra. So the commercialization of any nyina akra it started during my time. Nti no ne ma me adwen say me nko hu Jake na yen syndicate sponsors are on betua for World Cup feed.
Yes.
Because that time new organization one friend Utna. It was like the umbrella organization for broadcasting.
Utna screen.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you know, no one feeds nibi so that you can show the World Cup live. To be able to raise that kind of money, na GTV, GBC for skinny. No put together sponsors and say no, so because
no links. Yeah.
And you know, but I'm saying, so how are the sponsors going to benefit from this investment? And I'm so you be panel discussion. That was the first time. So it was my innovation.
Panel discussion on a sports show.
Ghana.
Wow.
Timini Mike Amon Kwafo. He later became director of television. No, Madame for Panini Akitoya, Madame for Larry. Even the design of the set, they never who are breaching with my engineering background of engineering design, engineering drawing. Host, you know, it was very interesting. So 1990 World Cup was the first time Ghanaians watched the World Cup live. And so we became household names. Especially after the opening game, I'm a support to Argentina against Cameroon. It was Ghana.
It was around that time, Rujamela.
That's right. That was the famous Rujamela World Cup. Now, Mr. Maradona commented, me say, Obo Argentina, there, say, Omushe Cameroon. Into me, prediction, a Cameroon share Argentina 1-0. Christian Agyei, then editor of Times, he dedicated a whole editorial to me, attacking me, nationalism. He free TV so
I will support Argentina.
That's right. I quite remember that me Kwabena camp na me drew on main gate na o enter no. So just for be ho. So slow down no matter okay.
No matter okay, yeah.
Hey, Mr. Argentina. You know, so I mean that was how I got involved in it. I did it for almost a decade. You know, in fact, the first telephone call to the studio in Ghana. Phone in. I initiated it. There was a red telephone, and I hope the GBC for make people phone in their museum. And the technicians, you want talk. I'm saying no, it's possible.
Engineer calls on the because telephone is on.
It's red one. So they connected it through.
It was a speaker phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to Saturday phone, so all these interesting things have happened in my life, you know, because that's how I got involved in the sports and all that.
But with your foreign tidbits now, they will introduce you. Will you say no? Now must say a local football and attractive?
Yes, sir. But I think say more media for na fede. Ma flip your coin, and they sports are not bad. We see more of international sports than local sports. So we are not giving our football the coverage that it deserves.
But when they go for buy,
Tina Meka say it drew him into me in Canada. But many the back at the end of it.
Yes.
Now you go to the international desk. But you see, we are Sankakra with multi-choice. That time by a name from Mnet. And I started by. You know, and so people now got used to watching international football at the highest level, Premier League, starting in 1992. So Ghanaians had the opportunity to watch the top. So until I think I'm at the interest in the local league, not Akofrom. Of course, it's been worsened by, I think, the way those who are running football and GFA also count. Their over-reliance on international players, and then they have focus on only the Black Stars to the detriment of the National League. The league was the soul of the country. You know, the Ghana, they were passionate with football. I can't remember the last time I went to watch a football match. So, one, most can't and I must standards not too bad. The last time I watched local league, no, I think say
Oko Stadium and now share
Oko Stadium.
Okay.
Oko Stadium.
When was the last time so Bekaya?
I think so one of Kotoko has matches CB. Accra Stadium.
Okay.
It must have been a year or two ago. And the rest me follow on television. The standard is not that bad at all because me share our top local players. One difference between one money in form February. I don't think the gap is that much. I don't think the gap is that much.
For instance, Nancy, I will share local Black Stars.
Yeah.
One more performance.
I wasn't impressed. Ne Hamidi.
Yes,
yeah, but I think we can do better. If we who say also they have more to gain. And more nationalistic or because we have over commercialized sport. All over the world, sports is big business and it's commercialized. But it doesn't mean say we share national teams now. Germany and France, bonus is never an issue. To say the Ghana have issue, this good play
Brazil.
The whole we were brought to world ridicule.
Yeah.
So the footballers should recognize the pride in representing your country. That pride and nationalism and patriotism, which appears said the Agyei free system. Now yet football, it has affected all aspects of our national life. And no titruntine, my better here may come and penia sem say Jankopoye Maduma. It is not just becoming the president, but I have a very profound interest in the reorientation of the Ghanaian. Say you be press a reset button. Ni asisa yisu ni ye ban ye niye. And now when Kolano do no ekasa, a hammer because ye generation see free wa. Let's see ye be a man koleya. They will begin to accept say this is the normal way of life. Saying ubianko struggle pisika. But that is not how life was in Ghana. We had our cherished culture and values. So sebi you shano uskakra umfanchire. Ubi uska umfanchire. We were very a modest people. Now we've become very showy. Into social media and abe worsen the situation. And it has really negatively affected the younger generation. Until we as political leaders, we need to engage them in a discussion.
Okay.
Very fruitful discussion. There is beauty in working for your country, in being a patriot. And I say there's beauty in looking out for the other person. So anyhow.
Okay.
To say the penny because is not what you can get out of your country, but what you can contribute to your country. And no, ne fapem tina ne menia brea me bontwa se mesre NPP for yinya adwen sakra ni hunu se oman no nyina hian sakra. It is time for us to reorient ourselves to show me post as well. New dawn, new direction, new dimension. She said, we cannot continue on this same trajectory. And
I say, you remember how about the penalty come on the red list are UK for their two nurses and care workers, care professionals. I don't know. We are part of the about 54 countries are UK. Form the red list here.
I've
had an extensive conversation this morning.
The reasons why they did that, but what was it? Why is that so?
Well, I listening to I think World Health Organization a survey, and they feel that the patient nurse ratio is not too good. Say be recruiting and nurses
Aquabonting.
Yes, and this is what the ministry is also refuting. Said the picture is not that bad. It's not as bad as World Health Organization is making it look. Many Ghana registered nurses and midwife associations so to train Komo, and they also have the view that incentives as a woman saka at the edge motivation of them. They are always tempted to go seek for greener pastures.
CJ, if we are saying
yes,
as a young as Ghana for your tears, say ye mine, ye na assassi in nti upeso oko baby say hoye. Some crofo someone in free, HHS mine and sign a hoye. Nti this is our country. Nti say ye as Ghanaians, ye timid taxes kakra abuaw na wabe doctor, engineer, nurse. Your first responsibility should be to your country. Enti sa patriotism na ene ayira maybe biada ne sika because yesum sika wo man mu no esi Agyei ne ka wasem ne tu enkola ne fo. So there is beauty and a sense of fulfillment in serving your country. So yemu bi yebetime tu bata dada mem so na wo kan sem bi 40 years ago, well over.
Yeah.
Na papa free mu ya. At that time, I had the opportunity to make Agyei asylum. Me nuanum bi wa buchi as I make say. I will not leave the country. In fact, in 1989, me buy say when Imperial College me conquer me masters me debi. I want to be part of the struggle to return this country back to democratic rule. So, we need to be able to inspire the youth. Yensre womu ni eno mundinkita ho ni enkenya womu no mu who said this is the greatest country on earth. Look, quite recently, until recently, I was the executive director of Ghana Institution of Engineering.
Yes.
For close to 4 years. Because of that, we took international conventions, Australia, Costa Rica, in fact. Coming from Ghana, at the same time, I was representing the West African Federation of Engineering Organization. The kind of respect that hey, Ghana, you've had 30 years of democracy. There's been no disruption, no explosion. Reports you have, we have a beautiful country. We are very hospitable. And we are beginning to look at us differently. So it is a country that we should be proud of, despite our shortcomings economically right now. And to make this a preferred tourist destination. Now, tourism, go to Tunisia, how many of you tourism go? Croatia, Slovenia, and then Costa Rica. So, it's just getting our act together, having strong and good leadership. We've had leadership failure in this country, in all forms, across governance, across the churches and everywhere. Social, because the problems here, it's not only political or economic. The deeper ones are even the social problems. And
Yes.
So, even the issue of family planning. But families should be planned if we want to improve quality of life. Because if we are saying, quality of life, into even the planning of our human settlements. Upa tuka nanti krum me trebi anajo 11 masheda nanti ko, especially the populated areas, no, or the least developed areas, no. Go and see how people live. So, we are in 2023. So, until say ya unipana wafano se omra office no ome cleaning hamao as a cleaner. Say baby or tin no tifima. How would you be able to convince the person and say, oh, ayefi? So we have a lot of social issues. It should start from the curriculum in schools, sanitation issues, environmental issues. As you do, Nina is down to leadership. Strong, visionary, determined leadership. See a bit too hopeful. Now you can only do so when you are leading by example. We be if there's adversity now, yes. Say so, and then people don't see that, so they are beginning to feel, and then narrative no service barometer service now say politician be any papa no kopesika
ahokyere na yefam na se emfa politicians no ho.
That's right.
Empenfo ya to aba yi wo mo
sana that's the narrative.
Yes.
So na ni nyina so gina yesu ni ye ban ni ye bi, because I keep saying when you are in political authority you have a bigger responsibility. You cannot say Ghana for ho akire. Now this is the time senior political figures are having flash weddings and showing it off. These are modesty. Nam se Ghana, Yesu need teach modesty. So, all these things is affecting our national life. Yes, psyche, unfortunately, we call the poorest settings in Ghana. Now, values we have a lot to do as Ghanaians. So, that is why I'm determined to use my life as an example. Say, in spite of all the trauma that I have been through, so ujijamiti na odo nipa na wakoma mu ye fita obetime gina ho and still be a happy person without being fabulously rich. And then this are blind chase for money and a grippy society which has affected everything that we do. So and now Betty Auditor General's report Sikapudo misapplied.
For instance, COVID-19 expenditure over 21 billion.
Okay, it's far in excess of 3 billion for IMF.
Yes.
So why do we do that to ourselves as a people? Abrofono, have they ever meant well for us to fall on them? No. And it's sad. After 17 trips to the IMF, we are back there again.
Yes.
Because we are not able to manage ourselves. If we are saying, Maka, economics, any revenue, any expenditure. Minya, uti sika uji wahano, and now the share, and now betim sika the shoma, no edian. Untimi nya life, a bru sika any. You should not spend what you haven't earned. And as a country, we've been spending beyond our earning capacity for years. It's time for us to draw a line in the sand. Say, hey, Ghana for Esremo, and then I feel it be a new project, but we need to put together a strong maintenance regime. Near maintain that because it's say na kosi. Yentimi moka and mobusi ngumusa eka emre, which is where we are now.
Okay.
I think it's important as a country for us to reset our values, our orientation. Ya june, binum say politics na yeke. Yes, Ubi Krako can and saying penny be also no contribution, no chop. Just a Kwabena Nsem. That mentality should change. You go there to serve. It's about public service. Who can it be? Service to the public.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you don't lord it over us. And maybe because of me, I've served in government in very high circles as press secretary to President Kufuor, the rank of a minister for close to 6 years. Not once did I have a motor rider in front of me and weave through traffic. And then motor riders have become a symbol of, who say, I don't know how to even describe it. Maybe Sunamete is Legonamete.
Now, if you want
Castle, beachside. And so on, to discipline, making sure, say, Wako, you don't disturb anybody.
But now
why do you want to announce your presence? Why? It should be used in exceptions. Be a president be a emergency. That should be observed as an exception, not as a norm. So, it puts off the Ghanaian people. Ghana for share politicians say, be taking advantage of them. Now we are living large. So,
but, for instance, our current situation, now we're living within our means as a country. There's been calls for buying on share near maybe non titiso.
That's right.
For instance, the size of government. Quite recently, Daniel Crow, who is the German ambassador to Ghana, made a statement. Say, the number of ministers are in just a Ghana de babia.
Minya Daniel Crow ne se bekansa semwe. Yeah, yinim. Me. When I was General Secretary in 2015, I had an interview on TV3, a sister network. That time, afraid hot issues. I said the same thing. It's on YouTube. 2015 February. Kwesi Pratt was the host. I've never believed in large governments. It should. Look. If you want efficiency and effectiveness, SABB Ketua as president. So. Into
the explanation, say, so we need more men.
I disagree with that view, respectfully, with the president on that. I disagree with him respectfully, because I think, say, first and foremost, the position of a minister of state should be an exalted one. I don't know, Tugumbe frame. So it has to be an exalted position. Intermediate, I hopefully Nyankopon Adom NPP for to Obama me na Ghana for na President Kwabena Agyepong. I will not exceed the 19 ministers. Constitution should be the cabinet.
19.
Frontline. So, because we share ministries now, you bet me a cabum a consolidate be and reduce it. Yes, BS can be saving in a door so casio. But is that moral message now we'll send say when you break, it's not a job for the boys. A bemo be a channel na kunya suye. So and send a strong signal that you are serious about what you are saying. A lot of ministries that I think should not be in place. I mean, there's a minister for public sector reform, as I said.
Yes.
Have we seen any meaningful public sector reform over the last 20 years? So why should that ministry continue to exist? So, public works, we used to be works and housing, now it was sanitation or all these things should be one. Transport. It's transport. Me, I'm a civil engineer. Transport has many legs. Apart from roads and highways, and no, in my view, a very central to our development here, and stand alone. Aviation, railways, and all the rest should be under transport. So, the same with youth and sport. All over the world, you go to the most developed sporting communities, America, NCAA, BBS, basketball, golf, is played in this collegiate system through to the universities. And so the natural home of youth and sports should be education. So by doing so, I mean, fisheries and aquaculture should be a department under the Ministry of Agriculture. In my view, when you have a smaller team, you are able to signpost them better and monitor and evaluate what they are doing. So intermediate, that has been my view. And yes, me standing in American, these are long-held views. You can look at my interviews in 2004, even when I was press secretary to the president. These are my long-held, consistent views. Me feel say, the size of our government, the general government is large. Look at the assemblies. We started the Fourth Republic with 110. At the last count, I think we are over 260. Now, Busao say, into the explosion of the numbers, has it brought with it any commensurate improvement in services? Ubusao be also there. Into cars 110 and so 260.
Yeah.
More cost to the treasury. Why I don't know? So them sure there are certain elements, there are certain drastic changes in Yameya Maduma I would like to see.
Well, Obisubeka said decentralization then you need to open up.
It doesn't it is not just the numbers.
And resource them.
It's not just the numbers. You can resource them when they are smaller in number and resource them with competent personnel. You cannot have a works department of the assemblies. Engineer, certified engineer, certified architect, planner, and so almost a works department. So almost soon as implement the human settlement schemes na indeed we have a lot of systemic issues as we deal with as a country. To be able to take decisive, difficult decisions. And that's what I'm about. I think I bring a lot more vitality to the running of government because a country like Ghana, these are the times for difficult decisions. But you need a leader who can earn the trust of the Ghanaian people. Close to 6 years. Apartments and I say kusisi adan and I say hotels and I say filling stations abeye a fashion as if there's a rat race over who owns what real estate.
No, but
that's not what we are supposed to do as politicians, as leaders.
As Mbisane Bey say, sir, personal interest going into politics for one kasa How did we get here?
I don't know.
Because maybe said during your time,
it wasn't like that.
2000, 2001, 2002.
I want to use myself as an example. And I'm saying even your mom stayed bungalow. I refused. I stayed in my own housing because Adom as a civil engineering consultant. I'm about Brakakra. Some men fifre esimedai. I didn't see the need to move to cantonments, and although it's a bit of a travel, but you see, we see nya nkrofo a wo orientation say omo kwakọ ye adwuma den de aboa. Nye say afi na ye kwa na Ghana fo so yeso ye kan ho. Yeah, Ghana for yeah, can say we have become what I call enablers. Yodium for unya position pen nipa, they come around you like bees. Because
obia be pemwa
obia be pe bibia di nyemwa keke emwa de say is utimi boy.
Yeah.
So ye be kra na be encourage you say didi. Hey, we okotra be went be say. Those are the things that we should stop as a people. So now political leaders also should have people around them on bekanokre actual. Yeah, praise singers. Nisiko fans. Oh, into tie political discourse is here. Me tie be kind platform you na mera ho. Aka say major figures na aton nipa bi na social media, say from social media army. Ni e kan ho nsem na ye ye propagate them, hype them up. It mean boy bodin bi kwa say na nipa we na ye kan ho nsem. And young people, because there's no work, are now being used to do such things and waste potential of the country and the younger generation. So, we have big issues. And when I talk about social issues, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Very many social issues. Of course, there are economic issues that I think governments should deal with. So I'm talking about, look, expenditure there. Ubit me akate because why now we spend it?
Yeah.
Revenue, na who some candy. But it's the easier thing to continue to load people with pressure.
With taxes.
Me, I want to encourage all Ghanaians to do their civic duty. To of course, taxes will be anywhere or shed that penny to a US baby. But you should know you are part of a society. You should contribute to the development of that society. But better still, so we put to control on your expenditure, especially near my nya. Now, fair now, be spending usika. Akoto cars mo. Someone trenchema and ne car no be number $200,000 near a fleet of them. It's a wasted expenditure, especially in times and near memory. You can say I'm not minu busy. Kwabena now NPP no yes and I say. Nam say that we need people who can stand up for the country and also tell the truth. Yeah, yes, me. Yeah, chichi party na me kan ho. The NPP assembly kan dia sebi ahobrase mo a.
Yeah.
Me ni mampani Kufuor ni mampani Akufo Adom nyina na ehia wa dubu ahemfie. Templesi Lane Airport 1992. I mean Abrante pa. And then nipa ni pebre they were nowhere near. So me kolapa because of the goodwill I have been able to generate in the media. Now me present sports highlights. They do baby here obia. Obey party political broadcast. That time no who want to say no. Yes, and Kwan who enjoy. Ubia to me didn't say.
And it's Livian to me, Sabino.
That's that time, and near me, she a soldier phone is here. Consul. Unia Kukudra. Unto me. Me, yeah, Juma Benjamin. Ghana Highway Authority as a young civil engineer. And so I took the risk. I will accept that responsibility. Say, Mesum Miku. Nti se me ka eniema me ensa me se eye me political the foundation of my political doctrine, service, sacrifice, and selflessness. Triple S American. Na sich no me nka no keke. I have lived that from 1992 working at the risk of my professional growth. So, me kai say in those days me free highways you lose election in 1992 me sure say hey obi empam me dey ba me hwe ne ma yekoso a public organization papa isu amekoka say me ento abama no obedi president uko ba bi kra no obi ehu ani edwane na mti mejai and I set up my own firm with a colleague of mine ye nyuma bebre uko boase. It's a big estate. That was the biggest estate at the time, 150 units of housing. A friend of Tiny Roland Estate. We were the project managers. So, those days, what to me when a contract ran near Fro, course, net headquarters, or Adabraka or Roxy, I kind of say, because of your political leaning. It happened. I say, yes, sir. No, madam, no, so, when we talk about sacrifice, when we talk about service and selflessness, those are the character virtues that you hear our new generation politicians. Okay. Because it's turning off the Ghanaian people. because we are not there to serve ourselves. So, who person be abemo and also person a politician? And so you are taking a big decision because you have to deny yourself. You cannot be any ordinary person and a businessman.
Okay.
You cannot be competing with businessmen over cars. Them cars say no line up and now my birthday me say, oh yeah, be modest. I mean, birthdays are not supposed to be celebrated.
Yeah.
But you have to be very modest because you are in the lead of the country and the country is going through difficult times. It is important, say, as political leaders, it may generate our confidence, over population. And no nebema or mwenya jidie wemu na omatimi DHD.
Adom 6.3 FM mamema engineer kwan na onum nsuo kakra mesa ba no Gino Classic ye kama pa ene se wo ye enkwan wo ye stew wo ye jollof papa bia Gino Classic and I make for de ama wo emeduane no eye danka sanka enti ene ukudwumwa listen no abaye no bomodin sa de Gino ahodi no susu vitamin A, zinc, fiber a boa mani peduano enya ahodi papa se wa wonim Gino truly cares. Yene engineer Kwabena Agyei Agyepong ene no twetwe enkomo ne nkomo de papa ni twi ni muti brofo no so or can feko. Engineer Yebeba vision.
That's right.
For one, the NPP and for the country. But answer no me question back the NPP promised moving us from taxation to production. Where are we now from what you see?
I think so first and foremost, and I'm very careful with these things because it's important say recognize it. So it is a government is given a mandate of 4 years. And although we have about maybe 18 months left on this second term,
yes,
it's still a very long time. And it is not for me as a person to pass judgment. Already, me makasa semoi. In 2020, the election results was a bit of a judgment for the Ghanaian people who compared 2016
to 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
We had a 63-seat majority that disappeared to zero. If we as CNSA are falling on the stone that we rejected, Kwabena, to have a 1-seat majority in Parliament, and with it all the issues are echoes. So the popular vote from 1 million was halved. And no said there is no better judgment than an election. And for me, that is when we should have taken our signals from. I would have expected that the president would have looked at that and said, hey, although we've done quite well in the first term, just that the Ghanaian people were not exactly enthused about what we did. If you ask, it gets to a point you've got to look yourself in the mirror. And that's why I said, we are mampenia. It's so strange. I mean, you need pay war who I beat me, I cannot cry at yes, and you do. And to some of these things, it is a collective responsibility of the cabinet and those who are in government. So with them, John. Going forward, no dear. Me, that's what you talk about. My vision is to have a smaller government, to impose order and discipline, because Ghana, and yet economic models, and you're practicing BBR from 40 years ago. From revolution by a economic recovery program. Say World Bank, the express we are seeing maybe, but to make matters worse. It's the first time I've ever heard say there's going to be some resident advisor at our central bank. What? Sovereign Ghana.
Maybe I do no.
And Vice President of America buys also almost sending some 2 also permanent advisors at the Ministry of Finance. And there's some no more catch. Let's just say and some of these things, when it happens, so we are nationalists. He said they are maybe a nationalist, man. It's too hard. So on the mission, it's not entirely the economic models, no, but the implementation and the management of our resources and our attitude to value for money for the country. Ghana, Pentua, as a demag are buying 5 cities, yet me Toma are buying 50 cities. A lot of our debt is buried in graft, and it's a fact. I speak so as an engineer of reasonable experience and knowledge in this country. So compliance with quality control and quality assurance and standards, there a problem. So, my vision is to have an efficient and effective country that is well run, so that the kinds of resources in Yakupon dia man, it beat me, I used to know. It me optimizing. I mean, look at our extractive industry. There saying there was a report on Al Jazeera talking about a certain individual who's able to spirit away from Ghana about $40 million of gold every month.
Yes.
The reason why I said this about 7 months ago, another sister station. I had cited the report, and I believe it's a buying report, which says you monitor our own production. So we don't know how much we are producing, which is a very serious matter.
Yes.
At the end, already the contracts with these multinationals is loaded against us. If you are, you be 17% and not 15%. And the moment from say, if that's how little we are going to get, then it's a be a man near number, be sharper, more nationalistic. They will have a better way of doing some of these things. So let me show you. Gold that copy the destinations, say Dubai, India, Switzerland, almost aggregating. It's about 5 times what we are recording as leaving the shores of Ghana. Nature say, Nipomo producing credit under invoicing to us.
Yeah.
All at the same time paying a smaller percentage as taxes. We are not making anything out of our nationally endowed resources.
Okay.
And these are what we need: stringent regulatory framework. And so Ghana for higher tionka, omuye juma, ejuma is omobo man who buy in these sectors. And that's what I want to see improved. Until that systemic failure na say when they believe that the government has zero tolerance for this kind of behavior, they will sit up Ghana for almost right there kakra. So, but yeah, no more test also. And so the public services, there is always a constant. Abambeko. Civil servant be to us and to that dedication that he should show to his duty. Anyhow. So, and that vision is to have a strong public service that is dedicated to seeing the country run efficiently and effectively. And that can only happen when we have a no-nonsense, decisive leadership that is prepared to take the hard decisions and punish. There should be a drastic penalty regime. Ghana. There be anyhow. Where they see with the banking sector. He used over 25 billion of Minusika taxpayers' money to solve a problem that amounts to 9 billion. To start with, I don't understand that. And questions must be asked. So them, John. Yeah. At the end of the day, almost saw banks now. We mismanage affairs of the state. Almost call central banks here called Jessica. Liquidity support, almost appropriating for themselves in third-party transactions. How many of them almost say Agyei? How many of them? And what signal are you sending to the next in line? So if you say, Obi Beye, let's say that's the whole point. And sa narrative no eyaba ti utie nkola no ne mrante na eba no more politics mo ayon say politics no governance I say cake bi na me ba na me party for you twetwe. No, you are put in place as the president or the leader of government to see to the betterment and the welfare of all sectors of society of Ghana. And the over politicization of the public services, I will take a critical look at. There are certain very technical organizations they will do with much less interference from central government. Some of them shown much less. I mean, we all know that Article 17 gives the president the authority to appoint the chief executives of these major state institutions. Yeah, that's fine. But when you descend down to creating deputy chief executives and others that didn't used to exist, you are even increasing the financial burden on the already laws-making state institutions. That should not be allowed. And people should be able to speak up against it. And that's why I'm speaking up. So, it is all about how we do things better. It's not only about getting the vote to win. Intermediate, once we are having this big discussion as a people and our values, restoring our cherished values as a yes, Susano. You go school crown just say you fancy we papa lawyer, we papa engineer, we papa doctor. No, we had pride in intellectual capacity. And nipa bi anya sika in background of the money crown na worship no Ghana. We've become worshippers of money and we've monetized the society. Oh, and also it will lead us into a blind alley. Into into the trajectory that we are on and yet sustainable. And in my view, that is why I'm talking about a new dawn. And I think with the experiences I've gained, I think Kwabena Agyepong represents that new dawn, that bridge between the past and the future, and so that we'll be able to engage our youth, inspire them. There's beauty in working to the satisfaction of the Ghanaian people without having to plunder the nation's resources.
That's right. At a very young age, but I ni si when so the party no such I na abem from
me call round see you say my call 15 regions. Say your party no constitution na hye say you be nominations na you borrow enuma your baby be a friend of special delegates congress and no nipa kakra bi na to, but they are the top cream of the party. 275 constituency chairmen, 272 regional executives, 138 members of parliament. We nominate the bulk. Now with the 60 regional representatives to the National Council, former national officers, the president, the vice, the former president, and then 3 representatives each from our diaspora branches.
Yes.
And of course, 30 members of our National Council of Elders, and then any surviving signatory to the party's initial registration at the Electoral Commission in 1992. There were 123 signatories. Say, my do free, but kakra or homikase mkudru Buno East, Michelle Penny Bako Penny Boahin. He was a signatory to the party's initial. Nti pay nebetwaba. So, no mu dinkita ho. Mama ma kaise party nemfiti ase no ne de do kasapa to ho ache adwumaden, that spirit of voluntarism and the NPP. Well, at that time, I saw that one here, so PNDC, Rollins. More chinchim yensa for over years. A kroma bin mu dwane. Nti mu mranti say mu na mo doso. We have more than 60% of the population, I'm told. Way below the age of 40. Neme ekosu nyina mo ehu bi. Ehia ma say ye bom nkaye kakra. So my vision to the party is that we should go back to basics, restore those values. Yeah, ne ase ne usuma obi kra say on fa post and tie down no hwe anim. Or twen say obema no akade bi. That is not how this party was formed. It was out of dedication, sacrifice. Obeye bibi e dia boa uku. Na me kai say na buzia me read about ne mane ade. Oni ofebi anyi no more program to support their constituency chairman. Into Coco Divanti na ma omo agriculture policy here strong no. People in the various districts womo empower womo supported them with good credit. So we a farmer, near person we a commercial farmer in a big way. Industrial farming. Whether it's poultry or crops or tree crops. That for me is the drive. And my vision is to see a party that has these 275 chairmen strong economically where they are. Yes, you know, and yes, also say, I feel the basis is Kadia Comam, name as a boa woman. Because yes, started politics, no. Chairman for crowd and I say and to Swabo. Ubi I say Bibi meetings, because on they contribute to.
Yes.
So that the very foundation of the formation of political party activity, and then we have flipped the coin. Ma and they expect as from center. No. And then also the organization of the political parties. I'm staunchly in favor of one man, one vote in future, going forward. Right now, at least we have over 200,000 delegates. So you cross 5 new year. Then the 5 polling station executives in each of the more than 39,000 polling stations will make up the electoral college, which is over 200,000. I think it's the best you can get to having one man, one vote. So, and also about one party, organization of the party at the local level, I strengthen. Yeah. Because me say I've continued to pay my dues at my constituency. Main TSA that says obey to your dues headquarters. I've never agreed to that. Yeah, method is for Utria BBR society. A society not to be. Circuit to be diocese to be national. Yeah. And yet the other way around. Yeah. Anti-party political activity, all politics is local. Timmy feels that at the constituency where elections are declared, that's the most important unit of party political activity. And we a member of her, could you dues? Now, member no who say about to be or bet to business or 20 dues for 2 years, they all contribute, however small. And look at the millions of supporters that we have. We should have strong parties at the base. And that's what we tried to do when we were in office. You're making sure say your beer accounts in all the 275 constituencies. Because I been a federal politics, you discuss down a chance of the Dwaso Nsem. I'm paying for some says BB handling charges. Sikan and somewhere funny na edit scan by the time I be dress here. Na kakitu. And when I became general secretary, I was able to canvass the steering committee say, look, you may be an account. Yeah. And now with modern banking technology, at the press of our button at our headquarters and through our banks, you can mobilize the party at a go. So that I can't hear on me here as somebody a former Jumano, no more to me. Yes, I pay. And I be a tears because they thought, say, no, ambitious or will take you over party. That be. You need strong political parties to guide governments when they are in power. In Tina, Sa convention, any constitution, every president in this fourth republic has respected. Say party chairman. Any party general secretary, almost a cabinet him. Say Nimrabium, but almost recognizes say a party no ne wo abaino. The president is not an independent candidate. He's a product of the political party. He's got to have a listening ear to what the feeling of the political party. Now, who else to better express that feeling than the party's chairman and general secretary? Because we're general secretary, you are in touch with the 275 constituency chairmen, executive heads of the constituency, almost on a daily basis. And it is our president crying up who dear cause Ghana. And your national security in Ghana so follow no. But national security, I'm sure when you say and the president I said someone back at sanity. Because I'm here press secretary, I'm penny for us, Kwabena free and the Breme. Free time Breme. Lunchtime, no, Ubi anyhow. Until Otidia Koso Ghana. So we are president now encourages and crofone about when me and cannot crunch. They will tell you, you would not be in a bubble. Because sometimes it appears leaders can be in a bubble. Not the air course will be asking. Not am I insulated? And then they realize that too late. It is important. That's why I think building my vision is to have a strong political party. Kwabena said me around all the reservations a party for they feel detached from the center. Yes. Because DC
but Kwabena, you have risen through the ranks. Yeah. Why general secretary paying. So we futubi adebema currently national executives no a futubi na adebema.
My friend Binuma akasach personally say look, when I was general secretary, we organized a very successful presidential primary. My current president winning 93%. Because we were even-handed. We prefer we there be delegates in some now. It is in their bosom. They decided don't pay. Now we are chairman, we are general secretary, we are president too. Yeah, they open on by into the more you attempt, say ube force hand, say farmer way, the more they will resist you. And one thing I've realized, we don't learn from history. At the ABS 2007 in Ghana. And I don't understand why we are not learning from history and following the same path. They say history repeats itself because we never learn from history. So them sure. So, enti asema wo Canada party for no woman in nim de omope. Say ye party de emre no so. Ye nyina ye bo apro. No wako party no wako defend your record in the party and then in government, which is what I've been doing for the last close to 6 months. I've visited almost all the radio stations and television stations in the country. So we a political leader. Now say your life has to be examined. That's a mark of a good leader. And I also want to challenge my colleagues. They should go about like I'm sitting here, so that they should let us know their views on national issues. You cannot say we support Toby when he has no view on national issues. Ibn declared, say, and so say some agitation and is all being organized to follow a certain path. No, but and I didn't advise some national officers. Say again, the parliamentary primaries in my time, successfully conducted, because I leaned heavily on the Electoral Commission. Because once a party politics, a man for interest in kitty, we are general secretary. You've got to assemble all the albums, because I'm the trouble. I say register. Yeah. Now making sure the register near crowding. Now be and question you because any nipa be near the BCM. All those things have to be curtailed. So, and no a Kwabena sani to abani the Unyaye nim said do no penasem. The Wenya no so tiase say nya na wenya. Anya se bi obi no bi wom na sopo bi obi antiase. Pona sem no na me wo kan no jeje. Sije mnasepo no. Eno ho niema bi a ekoso a enye. Me can say after this round of national elections na and then maybe because mama raise issue say man here mu create a bad image in the eyes of people. Yes, new executives omo won kwan so omo costra president because we're president. Now almost Sanekra Mbetimesa Costa vice president because we're vice president. Name Mesa Mokaisa vice president, Abano, say Ujebia or on kind de up to now. But Musha on pictures in a Babani, pictures with vice president and Kwan Frigibuli House AP. What message are you trying to send to the Ghanaian people or to the party? And to me, Kasaseme said, Mamu Bibi. Because when you go down there, the feeling of the parties that they don't want to have more of the same. We've had 16 years of President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia as the top ticket of this party. By 2024 to be 16 years at the top. It's a pretty long time. And it is time now for a drastic change, a departure from that. So, the party for no there. The result of Ghana for. But
for now, who said primary C and who campaign, your level playing field. And
catch from so making sure say and there was a level playing field in Tina parliamentary primaries in Basa Bia my Kunya 169.
For instance, over the weekend near Koswoko,
I don't even want to look at that. But you see some of the comments, the party has a code of ethics. It is a chief whip of the party in parliament.
Yes.
You know it comes with added responsibility. Obian Kasemen votuma or preference. I drew her about my voter. Ope crass any panico can be nako. But to come out openly and create the impression say constituency for no bia eta nipa ba kwachide. You know say fum rano. What the pressure keke na air to national executives no so. Because you know say this is what the code of conduct says, and you are blatantly infringing it. Blatantly. Upe say young general secretary on your day. and I'm on the moon for the pressure to say so take action. Munim say the moye and mashed than a moye. Not more the pressure no more to party national officers and so. Everybody should respect our own rules. The rules were made by the national executive, signed by the previous general secretary. It's still in force. So, enti Subaini bi so we original chairman no aba out openly. Usimi region ata simesichi and all bintianchi. Unim say enye.
But asotwe in your party constitution.
They hear and say yeah, it's a party politics. Nya asotwe nko an here.
Okay.
Yeah, the right thing. Because womunim the right thing. I don't know, shed the bonus here met you. Unim party so a kabum nipa ne de. Who coaching us who did near day. You know, and they're easier for us to do. And they say, yeah, my suni bino and your papa. And timpenny for no a dead nimua omo casa emfatana omunim say the omo cano and your party mranos and omo say your bomb quedu no mo cry so sacra. Abandon the hair, if you say, and I'm because history never learn from history. Make us 1998. Satam now, President Kufuor lose 96. Unza unya kwa baba kuswa, having represented the whole country, the whole party, you become the preeminent figure. And now President Kufuor ne chita for some percent the two a dubu 96 no bituno. We dubu a trust stolen verdict. Na name supporters no be Dr. Kwame Donkofo John pay for a time e no say a trust stolen verdict na say accept 92 no dey say signed in the course 96 me and back.
Okay.
So in terms of taking it easy kakra. And he was lulled into a false sense of security. Emma 95 the one say Kwame P ni pie. So on so pay. No the Supreme Court na a train sign. So at that time na man peniku form the moon so the gentle janon and form no refie nkrofo yi na onkro who afum kra no aba ho. Ye dan ni kodru legon. Mr. Kufuor na o divided one big figures.
Yeah.
After 96, no say any, and that was the first time a TBB a friend early Congress. Because ne be mad. They say because do one Congress no or 96 no Lucy and do because any time. Do because 98 98 2 years before.
Yeah.
There was pressure. Me call meeting the National Executive Committee. Me from 92. Because of a Jumadin, young executive forum near the poor party information. It was recognized as a wing of the party at the time. Now, two nominees, me and Alan Shematin, and represent Young Executive Forum or National Executive Committee. You called Teachers Hall. My pity, Mr. Kufuor, within 6 weeks, any primaries. I'm ranting if you say, and I do not any so share any deal which may take you on Rollins because Rollins was CCA 92, was I changed you in 96. So that time. Now, I feel that was the first time I echo Parliament, NPP. 67 or so parliamentarians. Emu 3 pe. Ninya could say on by identify with Nana Kufuor. Christine Church, a Cape Coast MP. And the next door neighbor, Atiwa MP, Yabeni Dako, and Asante Achim South, former Asante Regional Secretary, Alex Crunchy. Nipa 3, I'm just telling you, people like to move with the so-called win, where they perceive a victory to be coming for bad, and don't just want to be PF. So, that time, you hear me and Sape me, Kwabena Agyepong, Victor Hinikweku Newman, so kind of.
Victor Newman, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a Brigadier Numensa. Now, he had just lost the Winneba seat to Mike Hammer. Slim margin, I was not happy with the way the campaign was conducted in 1996 or in the military discipline. Yeah, betaku for adwich. Yeah, near launching the campaign, Osu Presbyterian Hall, Ebenezer Hall, Osu Hase. Me Pijan and the next president of the Republic of Ghana. Near call round, I could do Sunyanaja, Mampeni Kufuor, when we had support from the three northern blocks, and Volta, Alaji Saku. Upper West, COP, deliver Northern Region, and a Moro Salifu, and a Tomia Metoponum. Nature say, oh, we So, me can't say, say politics no. A form where Juma any relationships and nipa develop, and your crowd effect. And what we need now as a country, especially now, it's not a charade. So them sure. And your razzmatazz be in the air. You hear thinking leaders, serious-minded leaders who are founded and grounded in this party's political history, who have the institutional memory of this tradition. And I think if the party people, make around, so this is the kind of character we need to lead us this time round. And 2 minutes, they almost some never. There should be no shenanigans, say orchestrating near me being kitting, and no. Niana edisa okan bibi
menasipo
no eba a creative apathy so our party no timi dem futu amatu o man no
okay
omo make sure say omo validate registers no tem normally we are the akoma operations electoral commission so that on the day of election the polling stations here are 276. One polling station in every constituency.
Yes.
It is manned by the electoral officers appointed by the electoral commission. They are holding the registers. Into ukwa, so we a chairman, we a general secretary, ukwa, no interference. Now, one we now say, oh, region where the BBI or region chairman Nsem, we no control sign and no be sorry I was you. Yeah, immediate free register. Yeah, say I hope set this time no. The period of validation of the registers is starting. Now, obit me again of a no take control of that and have a smooth playing field. Obia even handed. Ni hunu say abatono yakoto. Now the mo GDS say party for no omu carry nsem aye ka no mo hwe yesu ne eba ne adwumadi aye mu bi etu ye ho ache edi adwumadi asom party from Dubai Hemre abesi ne no. But
data, yeah, they two about presidential primaries, just like Okasi said, making reference to 1998. 2 years ahead of the main elections. Now it's a presidential candidate in your time. Adom, but this time around, a party is November 4th. And I'm
not sure. It's a war opposition. That time, no opposition. Opposition is 2 years.
Okay.
So, 11 months, and he could have even gone to January. So I'm them. And I think so November no there is fine. Look, in Kufuor's time, we had it December 21st, 2007. And when you had the cry, say discussion and create media sensationalism. Last time you call National Council, BBI and discuss the previous one before the last one, you take a decision. And a committee in the castle, mumre. No further consultations. The material Bontin said the meeting has ended inconclusive into question of presidency saying MPC say meanwhile we didn't have any discussion to that effect. There was no such discussion. We just extended the time. And as I say, by a steering committee did recommendation by unanimously. So because they hear and say your best should be Jumana, dear Dean will say over around. And idea that from especially to say Ubi Zemia, I can watch for my check because we have to mobilize funds, we took now the hotels, now Faha, who could do also we share more, we go for Naba. No, baby, support on the transport. Okay, enough.
Okay, I'll be doing that because campaign. I'm saying campaign team. Indirectly. Okay, there's a number here. Me, you can donate to support the Kwabena Agyepong campaign. Maybe I know better, but I on this conversation about LGBTQ.
Me the cry the mentiasi says Agyei cry to me engaging as Ghanaians mentiasi because you see Nyankopon obo Adam no bo Eve kano ubia wu asibia oba na wo. So whilst I'm not prepared to criminalize that behavior, I don't think it is a behavior that we should condone. So on them,
me too.
Sir, I don't condone it at all. They say they are in our faces, which is wrong. So culturally, we come say yes we say me go boys school and fans we do our better we say near the end of it, but it doesn't mean say and yes I suspect it will be a gay and now a lesbian a coach no near bono and a copana bo. I don't think that's what we should do, but it does not also mean say we have to advocate and propagate that kind of behavior. It is not possible. We should work against it and stop the advocacy of it. Me say na mami of free America by and some of America uba unu ukru ne by uba unu ukru ne by abejina obeka we about say we human rights. Yes, we respect every human being's human rights. And he said a sexual orientation. In fact, me say we should extend love and counseling and care. Nagana ma hu fe minua. Now super mema. Say na say boa. Ese boa.
You best start say you know just you set up cameras because I can say mun hwe me jacket no. Me nya girl na.
Na ma nyango pa bomma city omote ni ade amaye. But na say obema wo so pe bema. Say na ya kakra. Ese ye nya wo ho abotre.
But the president stands as the president.
I think say he missed a big opportunity to just say it as it is. A krumade nipa no dodo na mpesa asuban no nemum yesuso as mampeniment now say yenko bunkrofo na inform ko to fiase, because already we have sodomy laws. So
yes,
and those are the areas. Say you can human rights there. There many president here nemum he should have been very emphatic on the fact that any behavior ikruma Ghana for no pay. The majority don't like that.
To say any Asian mo Uganda.
Oh, me sure mo dear. Me cancer. Me cancer. I think social welfare, we should see that department, no, which I think has failed Ghanaians. Me nim said that as a stay here juma poa. Commission kola and them kwan ho whether they have any interventions at all. But these are some of the social issues Nana may can say. Your problems, no, the even more difficult ones are the social issues. Me the mission ranting is yana may I worried. Because they say I can't say a life bina baba uhu enkola tena emu 8 aye rasta. Say unu trim cry just say unu to me old fashioned. Remember asha smart there.
We no chinchim ni there no.
It fashion. It footballers omu nyina ye rasta. Musicians obi aye rasta. We hear the names if we see well you quiet. But that is how the development of the world has gone.
Yeah.
But media be feel say criminalizing it say obechi obi atum for sexual orientation there. I will never support that. Nemum say pass on baby billboards, abe events to try and promote that kind of behavior there. I won't accept it as president. We won't allow that to happen. So there has to be some middle road. I would rather engage the social welfare fund, counselors near the to support people like that, because a lot of them we check here are more problems. So a lot of psychological and social problems are. As a people, we have to show them more love and find a way to support them in their times of need. And no, me feel say, me imagine no, menti, sa ayina, omu yesi omu di schools, no money a day, and it is very wrong. It should never be accepted. Debi, enkola no honey training ye, wo nyamisum, na seme kaya obi na ka say bo Adam ya mo Steve, ye bo Eve. So
thank you.
And now what was so we LG when by the old new crunena. Now wouldn't say unu crunena obeka we want some much. Now what was ye won so obane wo
yeah.
Until bumi no musia until kewiase no kensiana. Until we've got to, in fact, sexual education and moral education will be by another topic. Because me should TV is sometimes I wonder whether the National Media Commission and the National Communication Authority into more. And near man crofo or television so a big cries a bit more knew how to describe them in Robia ye tongue made me more in sika I mean this should not herbalist concoction unnim at the crow room and so yes faman crofo so omonum am name ranty drugs here be we television so because remember I want den kwa adwuma na e Ghana. So those are things that is destroying a lot of young people. To know who obituary 41, 39. You know, it's when you heart attack because any more consume no matter crow. As any bemo sisi my thing, any bemo why say, you know, and so regulation is failing us in this country.
Yeah.
Regulation is failing us in this country. Nipa no so no oton edru bia e obi an check edru no enso so no oton na nipa so nom because ni nu bia kan so ade onuma e ma oye adwuma pa na ade. No, it imposes more pressure on our health budget.
Yeah.
Crofo yare more na ade. The disease burden is increased. These are all things that we, the public health service, I'm an environmental engineer, so I did some element of public health. So, these are things that socially we should talk against. You go to especially the most deprived communities, we share the level of promiscuity. Papa,
12 years, 13 years.
Dressing exposed to sexual and yeah. These are things that we as political leaders have to talk with the social welfare, have to deal with people, and then there's an age of sexual activity and consent in this country, in our statute books, which is not being respected.
Yeah.
And then the issue that is worse, sexual harassment at workplaces, universities, medium, music industry.
Yes, you figure I've been a video as a medium, yes,
so in an inappropriate manner.
Yeah.
We run down our women, we talk down our women as if we are bar or a second class.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it is not right.
Okay.
So these are some of the social issues President Agyepong will deal with. I feel very strongly about these social issues.
Okay. Kwabena, didn't come on but media didn't again on Honorable Brian Agyepong. That's a more kind war.
Brian, I say me there. My family say sometimes. My father said it was in the excitement of the crowd, but really, Usha wedding it was inappropriate. So because you cannot, there cannot be said hand over. No government has done that in this. I don't think that's what he meant. Or maybe he didn't communicate it well. I know Brian very well. I'm sure he was saying that kind of thing. But I think in the excitement, no. That they say you say so. I think for a minister of state, maybe he shouldn't have gone that far to say that, because as Democrats today, I was there. Me and I'm strong room, and I did not slip away in 2008 by the skin of our teeth. It wasn't even a big margin, but we handed over. Some of them sure. It was very slim. And this is for 10 billion when you be a kitty bill. You boom because you're done. You're also saying, NPP Belusua. Let's just say, Tawan, and apathy, So, I think, the NDC is making too much of an issue of it.
They are calling for his arrest.
So, I think, there are a lot of political things that have been said in this country. I'm not justifying what he has said at all. I think, this is not a threat to anybody. He's not the president. He's a minister. He was on a campaign, excitement, I'm sure, have a second look at it. Because he should have changed the wedding. So, sometimes, I say sometimes, missing Nipani ho. Yes, me see one or
because nipa ni what they are.
Nipa transfer because me see one or so those things can happen with speech. So, but as responsible ministers of states and party activists, we have to be careful.
And to Kumar Brian on Pacho on Pacho.
I will leave that to him. My friend Beto has been saying since that I heard that, but I'll leave that to him. I think sometimes when you you can have a reflection, and then he's matured enough to take a decision.
Well, maybe this is what to say MPP form. So, say former President Mahama, also I can say be 2020.
And I make us say political leaders. No, sometimes in the excitement. Now the Mahama could never be anka. I thought it was very tribal from somebody who's been president. Oh, Ninia Baumia, Omuyu Suno, free same says, but he made that statement. Some of these statements, I think, say we are better off not making those statements. So, you only maybe bro, a bit me, I can't bit me, they are energized who support it without resorting to those things. And see, me, I'm not someone who panders to violent conduct because me feel say kabeme kebina ye wono yen gadi abano ye betoa obi ankosa line din ye kan wia you see yetimi aye electoral reforms no na mo social media and this first na media ni baabi o first no to about mu nyina mu nkotwen wo Independence Square na o ma be chiro bibi egu ho obi anim say no kre tanya no kre
obi anim be free by
be free see organa dia na trebe say bo history ne kakra but I'm saying say we have a beautiful country to protect. We have a democracy that we should guard jealously. So sometimes your political temperature and heighten unnecessarily. There are only two major parties. I said this when I was General Secretary addressing the NDC in Kumasi in 2015. Catch what I'm saying. In the foreseeable future, no, the NPP ni NDC, ene running on me. Inti ye kasa the respect we show for one another. And no nebema yenchi for no behavior.
Okay.
So inti uko kase inti ye kasa no mestre se yenchi kasa mu ye as senior politicians.
Okay.
And do something that will inspire our people.
Kwabena.
Mama who say kameme kebi amemo.
Ye better was papa but me the information e betu jabaransa na nyumbe na be pese say yes sorry I me bo ma na sa nyumbe
tu so me pepa daddy lumba so benya ankwanwa
okay me wo
nipa ba be ye bi do bo ankwanwa mama me
okay
mani beji
mate ye be bo ma enti engineer Kwabena Agyei Agyepong ne no atwetwen komon ma men kan Facebook comment ni bi we say the affable and the most intellectual man in our great party NPP. Greetings from your younger brother Darlington NPP USA branch. Or say Ochiaupa. And I want to say a very wise and intelligent man with great ideas. Some things are not possible with man, but not with God. For with God all things are possible. Nyamen kan ho say Francisca ata pokuya enso or de abanono. There's one here. We say CJ, good morning. I think Kwabena should join the NDC because he has because he has a lot of wisdom. And okay, I'll say this man is too fine to be in NPP. Tell him to join the NDC if he wants to be president, because this NPP will never give him the chance. Honestly, no. And we say NDC, Tete Vidich, or say NDC needs this man to win 2024 election. And James Amanate, or say engineer is making a lot of sense, but here I thought he is always with the NPP. Why not help him make the change he's talking about? Or the abandon. Quick response on that one.
Well, that's a good one. I mean, people have said I've been in my casa, but I said, won't mean for so. I mean, 2020, some penisha that frame, say me buano campaign. Men in the core rounds.
Yeah.
Nyankopon Adom. So we are, or your president, you have to respect his space and his judgment. Mean to mean conforce and say, meti me aboa so pese me boa na ono abefre me on frame me se me boa nti eno de time o ka se me boa no okoboa no me ye wene o abem no pe me moa no frame me I'll go and do what I can. Of course, when you say I have very strong views on certain issues. Nti eno de mestre ni pa na mo kasa no me ntimi nkocheche president sanka say yesi anase me futu ni yesi
okay
eni ma bi so amene na discuss nya de metimi aka na bonte because we've had a few discussions.
Okay.
But I know you have to respect that. My age must press secretary to president.
I know.
And the name of
all right. And for Moana Mubisa, how you can support the KAA for president campaign? No, many campaign team no. Did action komoma. Oma mami akwenya. Oma mami contact. Say opesa support engineer na konya badia odi campaign na warrior. But for pen paper natural number to ho emame. For pen paper natural number to ho 020 00 81 828 020 00 81 828. But you support financially. Account name ni KAA for president. Account name no KAA for president 020 00 81 828. Engineer.
CJ William and Darcy.
Pleasure having you. That's Papa. I've enjoyed the conversation. But you know how to trim come up to 6 p.m. from that. That's it.